Greetings, I am Tom Earl. On this week's episode, I interview Elle Barnett, speaker, creative media expert, and founder of Elle Train Media. Check it out. Greetings, everyone. I am Tom Earl. Welcome to the celebration. As you know, this is my year of courage. We know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you're here today, sharing your greatest gift, your time and attention with us, means the absolute world to me. As you can hear, sense, feel, or listen, we are not alone. I have an amazing guest. She goes by the name of Elle Barnett. How's it going, Elle?
I'm awesome and amazing. How are you today?
Great. I like that. I'm awesome and amazing too.
You can use that for the next show.
Yes, indeed. As a little intro for y'all, Elle is a speaker, creative media expert, and founder of Elle Train Media. She is known for successfully campaigning and producing multi-dollar projects and developing businesses. She is your direct connect to social media management and the optimizer for your social needs. How'd I do?
All of that was amazing. I need to use you for my intros at other places.
There we go. Put some music behind it.
Yeah. Did you hear him? He sounded like something on TV.
There we go.
I feel like I should have been like.
Bios can't always capture the essence and the magic.
Right.
So what's some things that we missed, or what are some things you can make personal for us?
Oh, goodness. Well, I am 35 years old and I just got engaged.
Hey!
Yes, he did good. He did good.
There we go.
So thank you, honey. And I have an awesome son who attends KIPP. So if you guys don't know about KIPP Charter, look those schools up. They are amazing. It's the private school that you don't have to pay for, and you still get the private school education. So KIPP is an amazing school, and he goes to KIPP Reach, Oklahoma City. But we're moving to Fort Worth, which I'm super excited about. And one thing that I already have there is I'm on the board and committee of Social Media Dallas. And Social Media Dallas is amazing. If you are ever in the Dallas area, and you've ever attended Angelica Theater, every third Thursday, we have an event there, an amazing event. You can find it on Eventbrite. Just put in social media under Eventbrite, and we have an event there, and it's really good networking, and there's always some amazing speakers there. So I'm really excited about that. Let's see, what else is going on? I have an event coming up June 30th. And I will be a speaker there. It's the Ultimate Business Blueprint, which you can find on my Elle Train Media Instagram. And all the information and Ticketmaster and all that good stuff is on there as well. That's going to be a really great event where we're actually putting together a complete blueprint of how to put your story together and plan out your actual goals and actually make them happen. So you will get all the knowledge that you need there. And I'll be speaking social media and talking more LinkedIn of how to stay connected with businesses. And the NARP group is having a real estate old school versus new school event. And that'll be on my Instagram later on today. That's going to be an amazing event for real estate agents. So if you are a realtor or you're into real estate or you're in the Oklahoma City area, it's going to be at the Dodgers ballpark. It's going to be a great event. You're going to love that too. So make sure you follow me today. We've got some good events coming up.
Nice. I like it.
Thank you.
It really sounds like a lot of exciting things and blessings going on in your life. Yes. Let's start a little bit. You were talking about how you, at the Blueprint, you're going to help people craft their story.
So there's a lady named Rhonda who's actually helping put together the Blueprint. She's that coach. I am the social media speaker. So I will be talking to you guys about how to network to business folks, like on LinkedIn. Everyone's on Facebook, and that's a great place to be, to find your old college roommates, the ex that got away, to slide into the DM of the one you haven't met yet. But LinkedIn is very overlooked. And a lot of people who have businesses, I come to find out they don't have LinkedIn pages. And that's where all the professionals are. Now you still have, a few people who think LinkedIn is Facebook. And so they're getting on there and they're putting stories that you're like, okay, is that her and her dog? We don't care about your dog. We want to know what business you're with and if we can network together or somehow connect. But so I'm going to be talking to the ladies and gentlemen at this event on how to be visible on LinkedIn, what their LinkedIn should look like, how to become an all-star connection on LinkedIn. And it's just some really simple tips and then things that I know that they're not already doing right now. So that's what we'll be doing there. And then I'll be going over, I always ask everyone in the crowd, what is it that you do for your business? And when I ask them, I'm a teacher or I'm a real estate agent or, I'm a life coach or something like that. And I ask them, who's your audience? A lot of people don't know their audience. So that's a big deal too. People need to know who their audience is. And so I'll be helping them find their audience at the event. And Rhonda will be doing the same thing when she's helping them build their blueprint.
I dig that. And I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, some follow-up questions on LinkedIn. But first, was just wondering if you could share a little bit of your origin story with us. How did you become interested in social media, become the go-to connector? Okay. How did that go down?
So I think it was May 4th. 5 years ago.
Hey, that was
I was already on my countdown. I was working for a company, which I don't think I can mention, but I was working for a company in a call center that I hated. But when I got this job, it paid weekly. And, a weekly check could keep you somewhere, But I will always tell people, even entrepreneurs, keep your day job until your day job takes care of all your bills and finances. Keep your until your side gig or your other job, your life job, the one you love, the one that made you an entrepreneur, keep it until that job actually takes care of everything that you need, not your wants, but your needs. But I was on a countdown. I kept saying, in 2 weeks, I'm gonna just end this. I'm just gonna walk out of this place. I'm gonna put in my notice and I'm gonna walk out and I'm just never turning back. And 2 weeks didn't happen. I just couldn't wait. I used to cry on Sundays in my car to go in. So one of my things is, ever since I started working for myself, Sunday and Mondays are my days off. You gotta have that bank day, and then you have to have your weekend day. But Sundays and Mondays are my days off. Those are my family days, my fun days, my go do a little bit days. Okay. So I was at this company and I just was so unhappy. I mean, there's nothing worse than going somewhere every day, clocking in, having a clock out for a 15-minute break, having a clock out to go to a restroom.
Exactly. I've been there.
Oh my gosh. And then you're just a number. I have a son. When he's sick, I would almost cry because I'm like, I'm going to get in trouble for taking off to go take care of my son. It's like you have to pick. And women, we know, our kids come first. It's so sad. Our kids come before our jobs,
Yes.
They just do. And it was so many things back to back. And I remember even on Facebook, I would say, this time next year, I'm not going to have this. This time next year, I'm not going to have to worry about this place. This time next year, one day I'm going to be out of here and my son's going to be, if he gets sick, I'm already be there, to just make sure everything's good. And when I see that come on my timeline now, I'm like, wow, I spoke that into existence. I couldn't do it anymore. I had started working with some guys who were in an entertainment group. And one of the guys that I started working with, he was a DJ. And he couldn't open up a computer, not to talk bad about him or nothing, but he was just like, hey, I don't know how to do that part. And so I would book him gigs and I would talk to other people and get him hired for, weddings and banquets and things like that. And I would use his Facebook and his Twitter and things like that. Well, that went over into, we end up DJing. Well, he ended up DJing for another gig. And I somehow became like the money door girl for this group. It was, I don't know. I was there and they didn't have anyone watching money and they would give me drinks, just to sit there. So sure, what kind of job? Of course. So I would sit there and I would just collect money and drink at the club, while he was doing his DJing thing. And then one day they came up to me and they were like, can we pay you to do this every week? And I'm like, sure. So I'm the money girl. So at a lot of clubs, I became the money girl. Mm-hmm. I was always the one. No one really trusted anyone else with their money. So I became the money girl. Even doing that, I still ran social media. I still ran my DJ social media. Wasn't a big deal. It was just something I like to do. I'm a social butterfly. That was another reason why I hated being inside this call center with the gray walls in this corner, like with other people that I can just see for a second who looks as miserable as I did. Mm-hmm. And so that led to one thing that led to another thing. And then these people start asking, could I do their social media? And one day I was just at Hertz and it just wasn't a good day. And I walked out. I say, where was I? I walked out. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was so, it was just not a good feeling. It wasn't a good day. And then when I walked out, I felt like, oh my God, I just did that. Like, I can't believe that just happened. And there was a little push there. But I kind of feel like, okay, now what? And I remember driving down the highway and I passed Chick-fil-A and I said, oh, I want Chick-fil-A. And like that one tear, it just dried up real quick. And I went to Chick-fil-A and life was great. Right after that, I met a lawyer who flew me out to New Orleans right after that. And I started doing his social media and met some networking folks there. And right after that, he referred me to another group. And then I was a speaker at another event and they referred me to the Oklahoma Realtor Association who hired me as their social media. So people ask me all the time about my website that I've never had 5 years later because I've always been a referral by word of mouth. And I think, that's a really, really great referral because people are they're putting their word on you, and when people can do that, that's a big deal. That's saying I vouch for that person, you know, and I've always gotten referrals and I've always been able to take care of me, myself, my son, and my bills, these past 5 years just on my own. And, the thing about being an entrepreneur is your money fluctuates. You never know. 1 month you might have enough to just take care of the bills, another month you might have enough to take care of the bills, the rent and go on a shopping spree, and then the next month, something's gone, and so, or your car might mess up. And so you really have to finance, put yourself in a financial situation to where you have something put up if something happens, but also be able to watch yourself. But it's been really good. It's really been a really good almost 5 years. 5 years now. Like 5 years, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So I'm excited. I'm in a good place. I am transitioning to another state. So that's a little different when you built your credibility up in one state and then you're transferring somewhere else. But I don't see it being hard at all. I'm meeting new people down there. It is a large, state, Texas and Oklahoma. So it's a large state. So I think it'll be really amazing, but I'm excited. So I started from working with a DJ and he opened up doors to other people who saw what I could do for him, who said, can you do this for us? And then, restaurants, and I mean, it's been really good, and I am looking for people so, if anyone's interested, especially in the DFW area, that'd be awesome and amazing. But can't take it
there. How did you specifically then become good at or an expert in social media?
Consistency. Consistency is the key to everything. You have to stay up to date with everything that's new. Goodness. Social media is not something you can go to school for. You can go to school for communications. You can go to school for broadcasting. You can go to school for journalism. You cannot go to school for social media. Social media has changed. Every 6 months, it changes. I mean, we just got a new Facebook update, So you have to stay up to date with the newest things. You have to read. And you have to stay on the internet. So when I say stay on the internet, Instagram will tell you that they just did a new update. What was included in that update? You have to follow everything that you're on and stay educated on those things. If not, you're going to be behind, and your competitor is going to get ahead of you and be able to take whatever it is that you thought that you were going to do next. And so I would say stay educated, stay on the internet when it comes to being a social media manager, a creative director, content manager, graphic designer, all that stuff. It's so many people out there that are very, very talented, and stay engaged. People only follow people who do stuff often. So that comes back to the consistency. If you're not engaged with your followers, or those who ask you questions, or even reputation management. Like if you get a bad review, you have to talk to those people. You can't just let that bad review sit there. I'm really good with, I had an old friend once upon a time who used to call it nice nasty. I'm really good with turning people around. I had a client who, I'm usually the behind the scenes face. So I had a client who got a bad review on their Facebook page. And man, this customer, they told their whole day's experience. And you would have thought they spent 24 hours at this restaurant. And my first question was, oh, I'm sorry you had that experience. Did you talk to a manager before you left? No. Oh, okay. Well, we'd like the chance or the opportunity to even fix whatever problem that you may have had, especially before you go to social media with it. But it's okay. We'd still like to fix that problem now. And well, there wasn't a manager available. Well, there's always a manager available. All you have to do is ask your waitress. I really hate that happened to you, and I hope you can come back in again. A lot of people want stuff for free.
Yeah. You
don't have to give them free things. Sometimes you just have to acknowledge their problem. Sometimes they just want you to listen. Yelp is a really good place for people to acknowledge good and bad. But most people will go on and only acknowledge the bad, because they just want you to know, like, I'm pissed and I'm never coming here again and blah, 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 blah. But they never thought, what would make me happy in this situation? Maybe just talking to somebody, maybe someone just saying, oh man, I'm so sorry. And then that rolls over into business, like the company I worked for. Gratitude. Thank you for coming in today. Thank you for working this mandatory overtime. I'm so sorry that, we pulled you away from your son while he was sick so you could come and make, $5 on our book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, it's a spinning circle, but you have to respond to that negativity, because then I had other people behind me say, oh man, I'm so glad that they responded that way, or look at how they responded. That was really good. And it was fast, and it's urgent, and that someone's listening to you. So positive came out of it. And so my friend calls it, well, my old friend calls it nice nasty, like here you are telling somebody off, but in a nice way, because it was so professional, but it did make them feel stupid. And they should, because you should have said something.
Yes. There's an accountability aspect to the customer service.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So
what about, how did you start to focus on LinkedIn, and can you share some of your tips, tools, best practices with us?
Yes. So I'm a professional. So you're a professional, you need a LinkedIn.
Yes.
First and foremost. So I wanted a professional page. Again, nothing knocking Facebook. It's just not my favorite social media site. And it's getting congested with everything, so I am more of a Instagram, LinkedIn, and becoming a Twitter person. I get a little bored on Twitter, but I find the best things on there. But I'll come back to that. LinkedIn is a place that you do not put your dog. You do not put your children. When you're on LinkedIn, your profile picture needs to be a professional headshot or something that shows what you do for a living. 90% of LinkedIn professional users have just a professional headshot. So that's the number one tip, or people aren't going to take you serious because it is a professional site. So that's one thing that you need. Most all-stars have at least 500 connections. You definitely want more than 500, because it does look like you just went through and started liking people, especially if everyone's doing everything. Your connections on LinkedIn are usually going to be people that have similarities as you, that you can do something for, that can do something for you. They're somehow tied into your professional circle. You don't just want to go, I keep going into real estate because I work with a lot of realtors, but you don't want to be a real estate agent and following a janitor, although a janitor may have a business that can clean your real estate building. So
yeah.
If they do, that's a different thing, so, but that won't be the janitor. That'll be, the janitor would have their own company. So, it's a breakdown. It just really depends, but you want to follow people like you. Let's see, I'm a social media coordinator, so I follow other social media managers. I follow lots of PR people, creative directors. One of my biggest fans, of course, I'm a fan of Karen Civil, of course. Not one of my biggest fans. And she started out on the radio, so I follow radio stations, because I follow Karen. I know how she started. I know how her book went, I'm like, okay, how do we do this? And she's huge, and she has all the stars. So I'm like, she get like that. Of course, before Karen, it was Oprah. And before Oprah, it was Lala, after Oprah, it was Lala. And I love her. She started also in the entertainment world, MTV, and everyone knows her as Carmelo's wife, but nope, Lala is Lala. Like, Lala was somebody before she was Carmelo's wife. So an NBA player who's plays for the Thunder. Go Thunder. Even though we need that. So I'll get that. Throw that in. Shameless plug. But those are people that you want to follow. You want to follow people in some similarities as you, or that do something that you can take from. It's okay to follow your competition. It's okay to try to be better than your competition. And it's okay to, I don't want to say copy, take away from your competition and make it your own. It's okay to do that. Like, you just have to do it your way.
Yeah.
You have to do it in your own lane. You can't do it like they did it. You know, I don't have a little Wayne here who can find me. I mean, who comes to the radio station and says, you know, I want you to start my PR. I don't have that. You know, we don't have a little Wayne here. But I can go to other states and show people what it is that I can do and make them want me. And that's usually what happens with me. You know, that's how I get my referrals. But so those are things that you can do on LinkedIn. It's a great place for looking for jobs too. And so if you're looking for the connections, you know, you can connect with these people very easily. Sometimes there is a fee to pay for certain things, and you get, you know, more tokens and more openings and more benefits to being on LinkedIn. And there are some free trials and things like that, but use those free trials. And when you use them every day that you have them, because you will learn so much and you will pick up on so many connections. And the more that you're on there, the more people view you. Your bio needs to say exactly who you are, what you do, and it needs to use specific wording that people will look for when they're looking for you. So when you're looking for a social media marketer, you're probably looking at the major words: social media, marketing, director, what that person can do. You know, you're looking for certain things, and you can find this information online. Google is my best friend. Oh my gosh. Google will show me how to do anything that I need to do. Google and YouTube. Those are like the best places ever to be in life. And if you have internet, there is nothing you shouldn't be able to know how to do. My son literally forgot how to tie. He learned how to tie when he was 4. He forgot how to tie one weekend, and I was getting ready for church, and I'm like, where'd my phone go? And he's like, oh, Mom, I had to borrow it so I can figure out how to get the tie, the hole, you know, where the tie goes in the hole. I mean, and he's 11. So, you know, like, if you don't know how to do anything, YouTube is there for you, and it walks you step by step. I don't care what it is, whether it's arching eyebrows, you know, like, I don't care what you need to do, whitening teeth, YouTube is the place. So anything on LinkedIn that you may need, you can learn so much on YouTube. Just the top 5 tools of being an expert, you know, and I just gave you 4. So
what are the type of things that people can post on LinkedIn?
Anything, like webinars. So say I'm teaching you 5 ways to gain more followers on Instagram. You know, I can teach those 5 things on LinkedIn, you know, and that's a new feature because they just rolled that out. I don't think it's even been 3 months that you've been able to do video on LinkedIn. You can also post more pictures. You used to only be able to post just 1 picture. So now you can post an amount. I think it's 4 pictures now that you can post on LinkedIn. You don't want to do more than 2. It takes away from the story. You don't want to write super paragraphs that say read more. You know.
I just to clarify, on the timeline of LinkedIn, like, do you post regularly to engage the people that are following you? You know how there's like a timeline component?
Yes.
You post every day, every other day. Do you like stay active like that?
Okay. Me?
Or in general, a best practice?
Okay. I was going to say, like, I'm on so many people's social media sites. So you should at least post once a day on LinkedIn. At least once a day. Because LinkedIn, again, it's a professional site. They're not looking for you to be on there all day like on Facebook. It's not a place like that. You can make a post of your event, of what's going on, why you should be there. And those are things that you should post. Again, real estate. These houses are going up for sale. This is where they are. This is why you should come look at this house. If you're looking for this, and this, These are those reasons you should be here. So those are places, those are things that you should post on LinkedIn. The webinars, wonderful places to go. Put your website in there. Have your hyperlink connected. Those are great things to do, when you're on LinkedIn. Telling people, I'm looking for someone who can do such and such. Hashtags are amazing. You can still, hashtags are amazing. I cannot say that so much.
Even on LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn. Okay. I can find anything that I want by using a hashtag, even on LinkedIn. And it'll just take you to that direct place. I used to use them all the time when I did the real estate commissions or the real estate association pages, just so people would go back to their page and it would be right in front of their web link, but just so they can go back to their page, because people get tired of seeing the Oklahoma City Communication Association of Realtors. So, like it's a long word. So you break it down or just put your hashtag and then just have it in your notes. I have so many hashtags in my notes that I do for certain things. And man, those are the best things ever. If you're not hashtagging when you're posting, you are missing out on so many people and missing out on people getting back with you, because people have found me that way. Then just knowing who I am or getting a referral or not already following me, like just following a hashtag. Best one recently that everyone probably just used, Kentucky Derby. You can go back and look at Kentucky Derby 2018 and find all kind of people and what they do and how they do it and things like that. So hashtags are amazing.
How often do you think people should be posting on platforms like Facebook and Instagram? How many times a day?
Facebook, at least 4 times a day.
Okay.
Instagram can go 4 to 6 times a day. Instagram can go to 4 to 6 times. Well, no, don't get me wrong. Hold on. It really depends. It's a time thing. That's what it really is on Instagram. It's a time thing. And you will notice after 6 p.m., you'll get more hits than you do before 6 p.m. And that can be a debate, AM times in the middle of the night, when most entrepreneurs are up, you're going to get more hits, followers, and likes and things on that as well. Instagram, a day. Goodness. I would say a week, 12 times a week. That's what I would. Yeah. In a week, you should at least be posting 12 posts within a week. So that can mean you can do 2 posts today, 1 tomorrow, 3 another day, 2 another day. You just want to stay consistent. Someone needs to see something consistently. And when you're doing that, after you make your post on Instagram, put your 7, is what I say. Put 7 hashtags that say something about you or your business. One of my hashtags is Elle Train Approved. So, and that goes on everything. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And that just means I really like this event. You should be there. I also put Elle Knows or She Knows Media, social media Maven or social media marketing, things like that. So get your favorite 7, copy them and paste them and put them somewhere in a notepad, and then post, but make sure you're using those hashtags so people can follow you, and then try your different times, because my audience may be different from your audience, so you may need to post at noon because you're a teacher and all the other teachers are at lunch or whatever, and you're trying to get insight from them. But I do social media, so people are on social media all the time. So on my Instagram, people are always scrolling. So the more, the better, but it's not a need to have to post. I need to make sure I post 4 today and I post 4 tomorrow and I post 4. It's not a need. It's really your time and your audience.
What about people who are worried that posting more than once a day will overwhelm people? What's your thoughts for that?
And it depends. Are you posting content that people need, or are you just posting pictures that people just want to see? So that's the difference. If you're a professional and you're trying to give tips and things like that, you can never learn to, no one ever says, oh my God, I learned too much from this person, I'm going to unfollow them. It's unnecessary things. Like, if it's not something that they can use, don't put it out. If it's not something that people can say, oh yeah, okay, that first 15 seconds after you've seen it, first of all, it needs to be eye-catching, Now, unless it's one of just those like little black and white sayings or something like that. But if it's not eye-catching and it's not a video or something like that, it needs to tell you something, and it needs to show you how to do something. If it doesn't do those two things, it's probably not going to get that many likes unless you just have really great friends that lie on Facebook and Instagram. And people do that. What I love about Instagram, though, people don't have to lie to you on Instagram. They'll just keep scrolling. Like, that didn't do it for me. No, that didn't do it. Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
Yep.
So, but the biggest thing is you want to engage with those people. People who like your stuff, especially often, you want to message them, or you want to go to their page and like their things, and leave comments. Because if someone doesn't stay on your page for at least 3 seconds, it's not even looked at in the insights in any way if you have a business professional page. So it's not even making sense to have a professional page if you're not engaging with anyone. So yeah, you really should engage. That's the big thing. And give out information that helps people. That's what people need. People really want to be lifted up or helped. But, or you're just doing those junk pages and people become popular off those too. But then you just probably don't have a brand, or your brand is junk. And people like junk. It works both ways. But you can't be a professional and try to mix junk on your professional branded page and then expect people to want to share and like and keep going with it. It has to be either or. And then if you have two different people like I do, you have to have a personal page. So there are things that I will post on my personal page that I won't post on my branded page, and my personal page is probably private, so it's good to separate the two.
Let's talk about, we talked a lot about online. You're also an expert for in-person networking.
Yes.
So what are maybe some do's and don'ts around in-person networking?
Okay. How many business cards do you have? Do you have business cards?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
How many different kind of business cards do you have?
Just one.
Just one? Okay, that's good. That's good. Have you had other business cards before that?
Yes.
Okay. How many others?
You mean how many iterations of my business card?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been probably handing out business cards since I was like 13.
Oh, okay. So okay. In the past 2 years since you started this podcast, I'm doing the interviews. What's going on?
Ask away. No, it's all good. Hot seat.
In the past 2 years since you've had this podcast, congratulations again, by the way.
Thank you.
How many business cards in the past 2 years have you had?
I've just had the one.
Just the one.
Yeah.
Really good. So I have to clap for you.
Oh, I did it right.
Yes, you did good. You did good. You did good. And I say that, and it's not a bad thing for those who haven't, because entrepreneurs are always finding their way. And you've seen those things that have the roads that cross over and go, and then there's a dead end. You're like, okay, well, now I got to come back this way.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have, you're trying to find your way. I started out with a magazine that I don't know how I started writing a magazine. It literally fell in my lap. And so I had Elle Train Magazine is where the name came from. And then it became Elle Train Media. Well, from the magazine, I had cards. I do photography a little. So I had cards for that. Started doing social media, had cards for that, used to babysit, so, you just felt like a professional to have a card and give a card out, and people would look at you crazy, like, who does this? But when you give your card, when you go to networking events and you give out your card and then you walk away, you lost your connection.
Yep.
So one of my don'ts would be, don't just give your card out. And I say that because I did a quick little icebreaker not too long ago at an event that I spoke at. It was the Business Besties Brunch. And it was really, really amazing event. And I said, okay, we're going to do a quick little icebreaker. Everyone stand up. So everyone stood up. And I said, okay, I bought an awesome gift today. And I want to give this gift to whoever makes the most connects today. And so I said, so this is how I want to see how you guys network. So walk around and network. And so I gave them like 3 minutes. And people were walking around and just passing out business cards and just taking other people's business cards. And I just watched and watched. And I was like, this is going exactly how I thought it would. And so I stopped it and I sat everybody down and I said, okay, so who got 15 business cards? And so this girl raised her hand. I'm like, who got 20 business cards? And another girl raised her hand. I'm like, okay, who got more than 20? And so I had someone who got like 22. And I said, okay, so you got the most. I said, and who got less than 5? And so this guy raised his hand. I said, okay, great.
I knew it was going to be a guy.
But the great thing about it, if I had given the reward to the person who made the better connects, the guy would have won. Because the woman, no offense to her, especially if she's watching this, she really literally just walked around, asked for names, and gave her business card and took business cards. So I did say whoever makes the most connects. I didn't say the better connects. She made the most, so I had to give her the gift. And she just got a bunch of business cards. And I asked her, my first question to her was, okay, can you tell me about 5 of those people? And she could only give me 2 or 3. And I said, okay. And so then people start paying attention like, oh, and I said, okay, and can you tell me about the people that you met? And he gave me like a paragraph and a half about these people, but he made the better connects because he knows so much more about these people, and that's what it's about. They didn't even exchange business cards. What it's about is, what can I do for you?
Yes.
Not what can you do for me? What can I do for you? So I'm listening to everything that you're telling me so that I can learn, so I can understand how I can help you better with your business, with what talents that I have. And that's what he was able to do. But most people, when you see them at networking events, they will just pass out a business card and keep it moving. You don't even remember who Jason is, who comes back over to you and says, yeah, I met you at such and such. I'm so bad with faces. I am so bad with faces, especially women. We change our hair every other day, and face. So I am so bad. You have to make an impression. Ever since that speaking engagement, I've ran into 5 different people. And this is the funny story. I was late to the event. I hate being late. Anyone who knows me, I am not a late person. I hate it. I hate late people. Like you cannot tell me that we have reservations somewhere and then you're not here because, at restaurants, what happens? You can't sit down till your whole party's here. Yep. So I'm not a good hungry person. And so I was late because I went to the first place that the event was supposed to be at. Well, it was moved. And the email was sent, but you know how we do emails?
Yeah.
Send me a text message. So I missed it. And the lady who hired me to speak at the event, we weren't even friends on Facebook. So I had to go on, look under the hashtag Business Besties Brunch, which someone had hashtagged. And I realized, it was moved here, which was right around the corner from my house. So I come in and I tell people the story and I'm like, hey guys, and I got in right before it was my turn.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, let me tell you about being late. And so I started immediately talking about GPS and how social media works. And I'm supposed to be talking social media anyway. And then I started the whole, the icebreaker. And so everything worked out. But it was personality that stood out to everybody. I came in and I used my weakness as a positive. And I told them how I used my positive. And then I made them do something. And then I showed them how I did it. And I showed them what networking really looks like when you just take business cards and then when you actually sit and speak with someone. So people like to be shown, not told, in a real professional world. And that works for folks. So that was a do and a don't. Did you get it?
I did. Don't view relationships just as transactional. How many cards, how many emails, it's the power of relationships.
Yes. I mean, how many business cards do you have in a drawer? And you probably mean to go back and look at those, and those probably will be connections later on, but that's money just sitting in drawers, whether it's your business card or theirs, and not as a transaction, but the money you spent on that business card, first of all, and the money they spent on theirs, but also you guys could be building together. If you felt the need to give somebody a business card, you felt the need that y'all had some type of connection that y'all somehow could have worked together. So if you did nothing with it, that kind of sucks. Another thing is write something about that person on the back of the business card. Exactly. If you do accept one. That's a great thing to do. Works at such and such, has a kid and such, wore a really awesome tie. You know what I mean? Like, whatever makes you familiar with that person or something that you can go back and talk about later. Write that on the back of that business card. That way you'll know if that's going to be a business card you're going to throw away or if that's going to be a business card you're going to really use.
Yes.
Those are good things. Don't go to networking events don't go with your friends, your closest friends. Go with people who are like-minded as you, or just you have friends who work 9 to 5s, and then you have your friends who work 9 to 5s and have their entrepreneur gig, and then you have friends who are just entrepreneurs. Go with the other entrepreneurs, but the ones who are serious, because you have some that aren't, you got to leave those out. So go with the ones that are serious and sit at separate tables. Don't sit with that person, because then you'll spend more time being comfortable with them than you do with meeting new people. Sit at separate tables, share your information, make people follow you on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever it is. Make sure all your social media is pretty much lined up under the same thing too, so that when you say, hey, you can follow me on everything on Elle Train Media right now, that helps out a lot, because if everything is going to be different, it's just Elle Train on Twitter, but it's Elle Train Media on Facebook, but it's Elle Train Media for real on Instagram. Nobody's going to remember all of that.
Yes.
So make sure everything lines up and leave an impression on people. When you do handshakes, make sure they're firm, especially women. I get it a lot, ooh, firm handshake. Like, can't believe you do that, because I'm probably 136 pounds at 5'10". So I get it, But I also taught my son to do that. And so, I don't want to be, the little soft-handed girl, because men, they shake my hand like I'm a man too. So I just try to stay with them and do the same thing.
Yes.
So just leave an impression, whatever it is. Tell a joke, just don't pass out. That's my biggest don't. Don't just pass out business cards and walk away. And don't go into networking events and sit with people that you already know. Go sit with people you don't know. If you're there, you've already made the first step. So you can't say, well, I'm too shy and I don't talk to people. Well, you're at the wrong place. So that's what we're supposed to do here. That's one of the things that you have to do when you're networking. You kind of got to talk. So, hey, but yeah, those are my do's and don'ts.
I dig them. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Before we had started, we had talked a little bit about around inclusion and equity. And if you have any advice for, a lot of times we hear about how people aren't able to move up in a company, or even VCs trying to get funding, where there's a lot of white guy gatekeepers who, have like a boys network and block people out.
Yes.
So what are ways that we can use social media, or advice you have for women or women of color networking to, turn that table or put the power in their hands?
Speak up. Not you. That was it. Can't hear me? No. Speak up. First, you have to be doing everything that you can, well, give me a second. First, you have to be doing everything that you can to be a professional. So when I say that, dress the part, know who to talk to, know where to go, know how to do your job. So as long as you're doing everything that you should, we already know, especially Black women, we already have 2 strikes, being a Black woman and being a woman, so we already have to work harder to get wherever it is that we're trying to go first and foremost. We also have to start supporting each other. We might have another sister that's trying to get in the same position that we're getting in. So like you said, we might have this good old boy or, a block that's making us either fight against each other. And that starts a lot as well between just these 2 sisters. It starts slander and so much other stuff that it doesn't need to, instead of us coming together and saying, okay, we both can probably get this position, or even though there's only one, if you help me get here, or if I help you get here, or we help each other, one of us is going to get this position, and then we'll be able to help the next one get it next time, or get another position, or go wherever it is we need to go. There's so many groups that's out there right now on Facebook and on Twitter, and using hashtags. I mean, we learned, I'll just say Black Lives Matter, since we're talking, racism and things like that right now. That was a powerful hashtag once upon a time. And it comes and goes. And one thing that I have an issue with is it comes when, we lose someone. And then another issue I have is when people don't understand what the hashtag means. So then there's the all lives matter, or white lives matter, or, just lives matter in general. But there was a reason that hashtag was created. We can create a hashtag for women that can push just as hard in any way when it comes to being better hashtag, or being better women, just anything like that. And actually making a platform and actually speaking against the troubles that we have going up in the companies. What do we do for women who have gone up in these companies, or gotten near those, or through those barriers and things like that? We could really work on those type of things and share those different tips back and forth with one another with a hashtag, with a group page. There's a sister out there right now who's dealing with the same issue that you're bringing up, and she wants to know, who can I talk to? Well, can I talk to you? That can be a hashtag, and just getting it started. Like, just women just have to get it started. And we got to come together, because a lot of people will say stuff like, oh, I hate women and I can't do it, and they're too catty, and they're this and they're that. And it's really somehow a woman, if it's a professional, she was put down from another professional, or she was made to she was pushed to push another woman down. It's not ever just I just don't like her because of how she looks, or because she thinks she's better, and da 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 da. Well, that's when we were kids, Yeah. Okay, so, and there are some women who haven't grown up, but there are women who really stand with each other and for each other, and we just really have to keep talking to each other and helping each other up. And we know other women who are already in those higher positions, and we just need to be mentored. There's things that I can teach women that, they never knew that they could use in their businesses. And there's plenty of women who can teach me things that I would love to know. Let's get that hashtag working, let's get that group started. And I'm in groups like that, and we promote each other and things. Sometimes I think it's really, really hard for people to promote effectively, because they don't know what they're promoting. They think, the way I would promote this woman, I wouldn't promote this woman that same way, because they're in two different genres. But it's always a way. We just have to want to. That's the thing. People have to want a difference and want to know the final result of things. So you need to have a plan before you do anything. I've always told when I am associated in politics, I've helped some senators win and things like that. I've always been told there's a meeting before the meeting, and there's a meeting after the meeting. And so you got to be in those meetings.
Yeah.
And then if you're not in those meetings, you need to talk to somebody who was in those meetings, so that you can learn certain things. And you what you don't know, people are always talking about, oh, you're not woke, you're not woke, you're not woke. You have to be aware to be awake. If you're not aware of certain situations, you can't be awake to those situations because you're not aware, like you can't tell me about, a business that I've never done before and tell me, what started it and what ended it. I'm either going to have to take your word for it or I'm going to have to go do my own research on it. And people are too lazy to do those things these days. And it's easier to blame someone else. And women are becoming accustomed to doing that too. You have to surround yourself around people who aren't in that same circle, who aren't in that same block. So I think we can dominate anything. That's what we do. We dominate. We have babies,
Yep.
We do things that no one else can do. We have babies and run businesses and carry kids and, I just got some newbies. And so, that's how I feel about that. I think that we can dominate anything.
Definitely. Do you want to take a second to let people know where they can follow you?
Oh, yes. You can follow me on any social media site, Elle Train Media. So on Facebook, I'm Elle Train Media. On Instagram, Elle Train Media. Twitter. And LinkedIn, Latoya Elle Barnett.
Okay, perfect. And for those listening who are on the go, all of that will be in the show notes, tomrell.com/Elle, ELLE, tomrell.com/Elle. So last question for you, because I know you need to go and then we'll sign off. And first of all, just want to thank you for all the questions you answered. And
thanks, Tom.
Yes, the knowledge you've dropped.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. As you might have heard me say, this is my year of courage. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to do that so I could have a conversation with everyday people of what is courage.
Okay.
So what is courage for you in your life?
Stepping out on faith. Not knowing what the next move was, but believing in myself that I would be able to do it. And being confident in actually being able to do it. And even during those rough times, knowing that you will get through those. It's really easy to give up. And that's just one thing that I don't know where I got that from. I'll say my mother. I would definitely probably have to give her kudos for that, because no one in our family is really just one to say, okay, I'm done. But I would definitely say giving up has never been an option. Mm-hmm. And it really feels good to live my life the way that I want to live it and do what I want to do, even if I have to work later hours than 5 p.m. I'm still able to make all my sons, soccer games or basketball games, or, sit at home with him on sick days, and put my phone or my iPad or my MacBook down, so that he's taken care of. And their success is being able to do you at your capacity when you can, and still be able to live a joyful life, and to have the courage to actually step out and do that on faith. I think that's what courage is to me.
What is the reward of courage?
Stress-free. I'm lying. I'm lying. The reward. That's a good one. What is the reward? Flexibility. For me, it's flexibility. Because when you courage to me, when you step out on faith to do something as big as leaving, your weekly paychecks, your bills and your rent and things like that, and then living your life the way that you want to, even though it's not on your time per se, it's the way that you want to. The flexibility of being able to do that is the reward, honestly.
That's powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And one more time, if you could just share where folks can connect with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. So Elle, not the letter L. It sounds like that. But Elle Train Media. And you can follow me anywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and under Elle Train Media. Also, elletrainmedia@gmail.com. And let's see, on LinkedIn, I'm Latoya Elle Barnett. So you can follow me on all those.
Perfect. And for those traveling on the go, if you weren't able to write that down, tomrell.com/LELLE, tomrell.com/L are where all the show notes with all of those links. Please share Elle some love. Really, you poured out your energy, your expertise. Normally people have to pay for this kind of knowledge, either an event or consulting, and y'all got it for free, unedited, right here, one-on-one. You got basically a coaching session.
Yes.
So, share that energy back by sharing your love.
Please, I want to know what you guys think. I mean, you got the bare face. I did put on some lipstick for you guys, but I'm missing a couple of nails. Like, you get the raw and uncut version. I also have an about me that's set up on my Instagram page too. I don't know, Tom, are you putting that out for me too?
Yeah, I'll put that out for you. That'll be in the links too.
Cool beans. I enjoyed you.
Same here. I really appreciate it so much. The knowledge, the vulnerability, the honesty, the bringing, showing up with your heart first, really, and taking a chance. We met online and I direct messaged you and you said yes. So I appreciate that.
You are awesome. I can't wait to see your next video. I mean, the way that you reached out, I'm a fan now. So
appreciate it.
You're awesome and amazing. Your energy is amazing as well. So I'm wishing you more and more and more years and so much more in whatever you're going to be doing.
I mean, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd love for you to have the last word before we tune out or close out. So my question is, what is your invitation for the folks listening? What do you want them to consider, to do, to reflect upon? What's your invitation?
Let's see. Think about what you really want in life. Write that down. Be very precise in what it is that you want. People say words are very strong, but writing stuff down on paper, it's a different type of message. So think about what you really want in life and where you want to go. Write it down on paper and then work on it. Make goals to make those things happen. And you have no idea how powerful that piece of paper will be. And then put it in a special place, whether it's on your wall, whether it's on a vision board, in your Bible. Those things will come to life. I can honestly say the man of my dreams, I specifically put everything that I wanted at that time on paper and put in my Bible. And that's what I have. Now, it took 35 years. But I didn't write that down. So I was like in my late 20s. I remember seeing a picture of my mom when I was younger. and she had on this headset. And I said, "Ooh, I want to be like my mom when I get older. I want to work exactly where she worked." And then I got that job. I remember that was the job that I didn't know she didn't want either. Stuff that I put on my vision board have come true, but more things, just bits and pieces. More things of what I've written down, even on Facebook. But make sure you write it in a journal or something. Write those things down and go back and reflect on them, because like I said, when I saw, a year from now, I'm not going to have to leave my son, to go to work again. And I don't. And that makes you feel so good when you put your heart on paper and then watch how the power of what you wrote down really works. And it will. It really will. I'm a super believer in the tongue being powerful, but I'm also a super believer in that pen and paper. Once you sit down and say what it is that you really want, if you really want it, it'll happen. Write it down.
Yes, indeed. A powerful invitation.
Yes.
And if y'all make one, post it and tag Elle, or if you want us to keep it private, send it to her as an email.
Please. I mean, and if you need help with any type of social media, or you just want to connect with me, I like new friends. So connect with me. I talk back. I engage. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you too, Tom.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Tom, can I take a picture of us being on here? Am I supposed to wait for us to get off to ask that? Look, I'm being me. This is
Let's do it now. Let's do it now. I'll take one too. I'll take a screenshot.
Okay, cool. I'm using Sissy's video computer and I don't even know where her stuff is. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna do it with my phone.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't even know where that is. You guys, Tom is awesome.
Appreciate it.
Okay, here we are. Let's see. 1, 2, and good one. Loved it.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks, Tom. And thanks to everybody who watched. And please email me or inbox me. I love Instagram and Twitter. So get on any of those too. And follow Tom because he's amazing. Well, I guess you are if you're seeing this, huh?
Well, maybe you might be sharing it to your audience and they know.
I will. Definitely.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you so much. And thank you once again to everybody. Once again, just want to reiterate that there's nothing more valuable than your time and attention. And that for this last hour, you've shared that with us means the absolute world to us. So thank you once again. And as always, we're wishing you peace and blessings.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.